tall mountains. He was one of the rock people, and his people would never travel up the mountain. But at the top lived a fierce mountain troll. Whenever a person would try to climb the mountain, the rock troll would hurl boulders and rocks down upon them. So one winter's day, the boy decided to brave the rock troll and his boulders, and slowly and stealthily climb the mountain with his faithful companion, dodging boulders all the way. When they reached the top, there was the troll, quietly waiting for them. Before him sat, his legs were out in front of him with a rock on top of it, with a square stone on it. The troll appeared to be crying. "Why are you so sad?" asked the boy. He said, "It's my toe, it's trapped under this rock." He said, "Is that why you throw stones at us all the time? Because your foot hurts?" He said, "No, I've been throwing stones at the rock to try to free it. I can't free my foot." The boy said, "We thought you were trying to hit us with your rocks." He said, "No, can you help me free my foot?" So the boy was able to break the rock in half. The boy died doing it. He broke the rock in half and freed the rock troll, and then they all lived happily ever after because they wasn't throwing boulders at them.
So this is Mother. I didn't really finish my story, but it's once upon a time there was a young foal who followed her mother everywhere, and one day there came a time where her mother had to leave her, and it's depicted by her mom jumping over a boulder bigger than the size of the foal, so the foal couldn't follow her mother, and it was just like a new beginning. She had to learn how to grow up without being around her mother all the time. And yeah, that's as far as I got.
And how did it make you feel?
It made me feel good. I mean, I like sculpting things. My father is Steve, so I grew up outdoors doing this kind of stuff with him and building fairy houses. So it's kind of bringing me back to my childhood today doing this, which is nice. I'm an art teacher as well. I actually teach with Diane over here. We teach at the same middle school. And we actually talk a lot about the balance of being an artist and being an art educator, because I find myself that I don't create for myself, which is why this gave me anxiety, because I create with my kids every day, but I don't create for myself. So it was really nice to kind of just like let go and to actually tap into my creativity when I was doing this. And I feel like it kind of exuded my idea of balance as an artist versus art educator. So at first I titled it Radial Rendering, because I feel like balance is more radial than it is like symmetrical or linear. And then I kind of gave it a character, and I named them Soli, and they help with keeping the balance, and they draw from many different powerful sources like the sun, any sort of mythical creatures, anything like that. And they remind all of us every day to have balance and just to find that balance in our lives, so that way we don't lose ourselves in the process of going through our lives, that we're not getting so wrapped up in everything. So they come in many different forms, and I say they so that way it appears to anyone as anything. It could be a she, he, they, them. And they radiate and they show us the way when we feel that our life is unbalanced. So
it just went into a story that I've been working on for a long time but didn't have a conclusion for, and it just set up really nicely for me. And I kind of write in a poetic form. The name of it is Amen. From the beach we see the ocean. From the water we see our friends. From our friends we see the mountains. George's Bank is a real place. It awaits the trickster. He hides behind the rocks. My friends point the safe way. The rocks on the plateau align, and I climb to the tippity top. It is here, Almond Mountain, and the heart of the cursed blue whale. The rock upturns, the land slides, covers the hopes and dreams of the trickster below. The true blue king, his heart and the ocean saved.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been working on a story for my grandson, and it's about a boy who is going to save the heart of the blue whale that was cursed 13,000 years ago, and by the evil trickster, which is taken from the Indian legends, you know. And the rocks that are here were brought down from Newfoundland, where the blue whale was separated from his heart. And the heart was in a boat, a cement boat, and floated down to the bottom and was hiding until the time came with the blue moon, and all the spells started happening, and the squid came because they didn't want the heart to be joined again with the blue whale's body because he wanted to be king. And so I found an end.
Play, you have friends and fun, and no matter what you're playing with, a toy or a car or whatever, and it becomes part of you. And that's kind of the thing I felt out of this, was that I bonded with it while I was playing, and I haven't played in a long time. It's kind of nice. So my story is about a lost man on the earth. It's called The Way. Lost and alone, night descends, fire light and warm upon the earth, his companion. Stars appear, providing enlightenment. He finds direction. Joy fills his heart, freeing him to find his way. Finally, peace over fear, for soon it can be over, and he will return safe to love. That's my...
Thank you all for coming, by the way. Really appreciate it. This work relates to the energy coming and going from the soul. It's called Either Way Too, and it relates to a sculpture that I titled Either Way. It's down in Australia now, but that's another story. And the material is to suit the form, and the form is to share the feeling, as the feeling is from within. And from within is influenced from without. And the within becomes the without, moving either way. And that's what I consider that we do when we relate to the world around us, because we interpret things based on our own experiences in life, and we take possession of what we see, and we go back and forth quite often. So it's either way.
You know, like seeing all the images of children, and like, okay, when I was a kid, I would love this kind of thing, and what would I do? And honestly, I was so taken by all the different rocks and the variety. Like, I thought each one was so beautiful and special, and it was challenging for how to make them work together. So what I ended up creating was what I considered a diversity doggess, which is also goddess in a different spelling. And she is a very fabulous diversity doggess. She recognizes special attributes and beauty in all people and things. She sees how together, as I was forming and putting it all together, these parts and pieces are even more beautiful when put together. And that was essentially it. Adorable. Thank you. So I felt like it was sort of like, yeah, there was like these two especially beautiful purple rocks, but I didn't want them to be like more important than any of the others. So I tried to make it like, oh, one is the eye seeing the beauty, and one is part of the ear able to hear, you know, the beauty. And then it kind of reminded me of like the never-ending story or something like that. This strange, like, you know, mystical character from your childhood kind of a thing.
And I saw this, and afterwards you can look closely at what this is. I don't know what it is, but it reminded me of a forest. So that's where I get the idea of the story. So
Oh, yes.
this is, it's a great background. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Look at that. I mean, I'm not an artist, so I couldn't
Yes, you
I couldn't do that. So my background is a teacher, but I'm also a yoga teacher too. So this is the path of enlightenment. And when you're young, the path is smooth and bright. You're small and it's smooth and bright, and you have a lot of help getting up the path. There's lots of other people to help boost you along your path. And then about when you're about 14, 15 years old, you feel this call, this to be drawn to something else. And then you have this fork in the road. And then there's many ways you can go. Are you drawn to the knowledge stone? And then which direction are you going to go? Will you go up the smooth road, but end up small? If it's just smooth, you're just going to be small with no obstacles. If you go to the shiny road, that's it. I mean, there's nothing left for you to do. But if you go towards, or will you give up and just fall down? Or will you reach for a friend and try many different pathways? Sometimes you will fall, but that friend will also lift you up. And then when you get to the end, you gather your knowledge, your wisdom, and you fly towards the end.